It's video game flash fiction time when I randomly select an Atari 2600 game and using only the sights and sounds create an original story void of any IP of previously inspired purpose for that game. Because talk doesn't write, let's go ahead and start the timer. Let's roll the dice. We have 6 columns and 10 rows on each column. 1 to 6. Here's the 6-sided dice. 5 right here. And then we got the 10-sided dice. From the bottom to top 10, 1. Okay. Some game called Pengo is going to be our flash fiction story for today. I'm going to have to do a bit of digging right here to be able to get that cartridge, to be able to slot it into the Atari. Again, don't ever mind going through the Atari 2600 cartridges. It's a unique thing given their form factor is different for each cartridge. Well, at least each creator of cartridges, that is. Hell, I don't even know if form factor is the right word. Talking out loud right now is something I'm adjusting to. It's that time of day. It's time for video game flash fiction. Let's see if Pengo works. What do we need for Pengo? Should say right here. I'm hoping it says paddle, not paddles. Doesn't say. Wow. Typically it says on Atari whether it's paddles or joystick, number pad. Well, that's a bother. Pengo is the name of this game. I've honestly never played this before. Let me get the screen up so I can actually see what I'm playing. Sounds are kind of fun. You're a penguin, it looks like. Okay. A little coffee. A little time. Let's hit reset. All right. Is my joystick broke? It must. I don't know. Did I just... No, go back and forth. I don't know. Am I supposed to just live a long time? I'm confused. There's like these blocks, and I'm a penguin, and I think the other ones look like seals. I'm going to go with that. And I touch my die. The button doesn't seem to do anything. I can go up and down, left to right. I got 60 something somehow. Oh! Wait a second. I touched the block. I see now. I see a little bit better. Let's try this. I touch the block. Is that how I destroy the peoples? Can I like push the block against them? Oh, I bet that's it. So let's try this. Let's try destroying one of these. Boom, that's how I do it. You smash them with ice blocks. Pengo's kind of brutal. Someone's pissed off. Why does Pengo want to kill? Why do they want to kill each other? I guess natural limitation of it's an environmental factor. Oh, I think the walruses, maybe we're going to call them. They look maybe like walruses. Who the hell knows? I can't even tell. So I want to get rid of this and then set this one up to destroy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I can get it right here. Come on, go up, up. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, shoot. Urgh. That's frustrating. I almost had that guy. All right, game over. I can start enough from this and we'll play it again. That's interesting. I don't know what to think about this as Pengo the Penguin and the Ice Killer. So, I'm going to have to hear that sound for a long time if I don't quiet it because it's a non-stop constant. Round 1, player 1? Does it just start over again automatically? My hell. Oh, I get this game now. Don't you I'll squish you, kid. And you gotta like, oh, this is, okay, so you destroy. I see. What's this little, there's a little like shaking thing in here. Oh, maybe it means you can't move it. Oh, wait, I'm gonna smash you. Boom! Pass the level. Did I? Okay, round time, 40 seconds, bonus 500. I'm feeling like I know this game now. And now there's more. There's red walruses. Boom, you're dead, kid. Oh, I see what those little things are. The ice things with the pulsing red dots seem to be other creatures that can be released by your enemy walruses as you smash them. Oh, come on, smash this one. Come on. Holy cow, what a kind of fun game. End up playing this game more. All right. Where's that remote here? I don't know if my mind's going to be able to handle this consistent sounds of Pengo. I will enjoy the sounds of Pengo in a moment. Right now, having it in the background, as it is just enough for enjoyment. All right, Pengo. Let's create a story off of this, and let's see how it processes a little bit. Pengo. I'm a penguin killing walruses. That's just what I do. A little weird. What's the aggression? Why does Pengo hate the walruses? Why are there blocks so evenly structured for these things to be? All these questions I need to answer in a flash fiction story for Atari 2600's Pengo. I don't even understand. I've never read the instructions. Okay, so let's create a story. Video game flash fiction Pengo. I guess, you're a penguin, so let's start. I think you're a penguin. Hell if I know. It looks kind of like a penguin. It looks kind of like penguin and walruses, like the legendary red penguins, which I don't think ever exists. It's just something I made up. Oh, Pengo. Pengo in the square blocks inside of a square room with walruses running around, breaking the ice, releasing other walruses. For some reason, why? I mean, this seems to me like a zoo thing, because it does give that, idea of, wow, and you can wait forever. Like it's waiting for player 1 to go to round 2 again. There's too much of an enclosure. So there's walls, there's these blocks, and obviously they're uniform. Maybe they're not supposed to be. It's a little weird that they can break the ice and a walrus pops out unfrozen. I think that's kind of cool, though. Let's use that as a mechanic of the story. It is almost like needing to come together inside of a zoo. And maybe it's a game that the zoo... Oh, my mind's too much on the economy these days. My thought right now is that maybe the zookeepers is a for-profit zoo, and they need to be able to have budget in order to maintain the zoo. And so they have something called, I can't call it Pengo. How does Pengo even work into this? Maybe that's what they call out when they place the bets. Pengo! Like Django instead. It's a lot like, no, it's not a lot like Django. Yeah, Pengo. So it's going to be a zoo. I got an hour and 20 minutes left, and the way that I'm thinking about this right now, let's just play it a little bit more and see if I can play with the zoo idea and how to write it. I feel right now I have a story about a penguin trapped into a penguin and walruses. I'm not gonna make anyone the hero here or the villain. The villain is the for-profit zookeeper who's looking to exploit animals. Okay. He's looking to exploit animals for profit to support the creation of the zoo. Boom. Come on now. You just can't manifest right there. That's not fair. All right, so Pengo's not the character, so it's penguins and walruses. And I don't know why you'd put one, penguin against all these different walruses, assuming that's what this red thing is, but I can only assume. I'm assuming it's not black and white because it'd be a hard graphic to see if it were on this fun stage of boom, smashing that walrus looking thing. Come on, stubborn dude. I want to get past this stage. Okay. And it's definitely like it's definitely arena-like, so boom. Dominate you. Bonus time, 10, player 1. Even though the protagonist seems to be the penguin-looking character here, I'm not going to have. Everybody is a protagonist, and they're fighting against the zoo man. Like many of my stories, you got to fight against somebody. This is not really cute and fuzzy because you're literally trying to smash other animals with ice blocks. So let's forego any sort of idea of happiness. This is the Atari 2600. You shoot things, you kill things. This is video games for the most part. They were built upon killing, or the concept of it. It's very objective. I get it. I understand why. Subjective things is a little bit harder to have in a low-bit video game like this. So Pengo, we'll call it a zoo. Maybe the National Zoo. I don't know. I always see the penguins inside of a zoo, and I feel sorry for them. I've seen pandas inside of a zoo, the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., and that was really depressing. They looked really happy and just fed on the hog and consuming all the food they need, but the spray-painted cardboard, particle board walls that looked like icebergs was just not a good thing. Or looked like something. I thought it looked like icebergs. I don't know. Anyway, it was a bit ago. I always felt sorry for those pandas, especially that zoo. It's got lots of rats right in the middle of a city. Right in the middle of a swamp. Anyway, let's go Pengo. Pengo, zoo. That's I'm gonna pull from what my mind is right now. The National Zoo's budget. The slashing of the budget. Let's just start it off right there. Let's start off with some budget. Okay, so the cutting of the National Zoo's budget during debt. Well, yeah, write what you know and write what's on your mind during the debt ceiling debates, during the cutting of the National Zoo budget, during the debt ceiling increase negotiated to cut funding for zoos across America. That makes more sense. So I have some sort of, this is how they're going to make profit. So the cutting of the National Zoo's budget during the debt ceiling increase negotiated. I don't know. Yeah, so how is this going to end? The animals die. Like, you're getting squished by ice. This is difficult. I gotta write how this is gonna end. What does Pengo do? Pengo's the game. It ain't a character. Call it Pengo. Pengo, the smashing walrus game, or smashing or eating penguin game. I'm not exactly sure how They're going to give agency to these animals to be able to have this sort of conflict. I'm trying to figure that out. I know during the past I've made it part of the fiction, but the cutting of the National Zoo budget during the debt ceiling increase combined with the... Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like remote control animals. Maybe mixed with... I don't want to see this penguin. Come on. If I hit this button, do I... I think I broke my joystick when I dropped it a moment ago. There we go. Oh my god. We'll just do this action here. I like it. Let's show the fun little penguin as the walruses come to attack. I wonder how long little penguin there can live without moving. Not long. It's already dead. The cutting of the National Zoo's budget during the debt ceiling raise during the debt ceiling negotiations combined with sold the National Zoo to a technology startup promising not only what would be promising to fund a proper zoo, but provide a real life animal experience using chips implanted in the brains of the animals. I'm not sure why they picked the penguins and the walruses. I'm going to call them walruses. I'm going to have them be walruses and not seals. They look like they got some sort of tusks, and if I remember, that's very walrus looking like. Okay, so we got a debt ceiling in the National Zoo. So maybe it's that's what Pengo's going to be. Pengo's going to be the startup, a technology startup called Pengo. Inspired by the game Django. Is it Django? Django? I'm going to go so Django. I don't know. I keep on thinking of Jango Fett from Star Wars. Shock, I know what Star Wars is. Who would have guessed it? If you've been on my Twitch channel right now or you see any of these videos during the future, you're not going to be shocked. Django. So Pengo inspired by the game Django, and let's not throw that out. Called Pengo, inspired by the tech entrepreneur Valley rich kid, love of Django, promising not only to fund a proper zoo, but provide a real-life animal experience using chips implanted into the brains of animals. And let's have one more: animal fights. And said, what's the gender? Where's my dice? One, 2 male, 3, 4 female, 5, 6 That's 5. We'll make neutral name. Neutral name and no pronouns. They, their, them. Pat. Danny. I figure with an IE, it kind of, you could just do Danny with an I. And, said Danny, is this past tense? The cost-cutting debt ceiling budget during the debt ceiling negotiation sold the National Zoo to a technology startup called Pengo, a name inspired by the rich... promising to not only to fund a proper zoo, but also, let's get rid of words, provide a real-life animal experience using chips implanted in the brains of the animals. Okay. Because that's just naturally what you do. If you have a startup and you're interested in being that guy, there you go. You're it. Using chips implanted in the brains of the animals. And, Danny said, we have competitions, we have contests, we have animal fights. Because like capitalism, capital, I always get that mixed up. Capitalism, because like capitalism, we fight, everything must fight to earn. So this is going to be some sort of, hip new way to fund zoos, because we just can't fund them for education. We have to fund them for entertainment. You want the private corporation to do it because they always have the best in mind of the people. Yeah, right. The cutting of the National Zoo. So, and, said Donnie, we have animal fights because, like capitalism, everything must fight to earn. I mean, I can't appreciate, even though it's a little rat infested, and during the summer, it is miserable sometimes to go to the National Zoo. I highly recommend going. They've got a lot of great animals, and it's free. That's the great thing about a lot of the things that exist in Washington, D.C. If you want to go look and see some really cool things, it's free. One of the coolest things about the United States that I really appreciate is its national museums and the National Mall. And it's free. Free to go view. It's not free to support. Of course, my tax dollars are helping pay for it, but you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it. And, said Danny, we have animal fights because I don't want this to happen. And we have animal fights. Everything must fight to earn. The animal fights. How am I gonna roll into this, and how is this gonna end? Before the first, I think it's the first and the last animal fight, or maybe I need now a conflict. I mean, the conflict is that a private corporation bought this, so I need to have at least something with agency push back and say no, this is bad, and that's the conflict. The protesters not only showed up, protesters showed up for the ribbon cutting ceremony. If I like to still spell, I don't know. Ceremony is not a word for my mind this morning, evidently. The protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting ceremony with signs of fighting animals, with signs of fighting animals. Sure. The protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting ceremony with signs of fighting animals. with signs of fighting animals, chanting. What am I chanting? What are they chanting for that matter? Hey, it finally stopped after a little while. The screensaver does nothing else, and it's silent. That's kind of refreshing. The protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting ceremony with signs of fighting animals, chanting. What are they chanting? What's something funny but catchy? I mean, I guess I don't necessarily need to make every video game flash fiction story funny, but what are they chanting? Something funny and catchy, because you're going to want people passing by to either feel death and feel a little humor and have that catchy phrase. Pengo needs go. Pengo go. Pengo go. Pengo. Pengo. Oh, hey. There we go. Pengo. Pengo. Reading. Okay, so that's what the signs of fighting animals. Reading. Pain. Go. While chanting. While shouting. Pengo. Pengo. If I was a witty protester, that's what I'd be shouting, is Pengo. Pain go. And a smart, witty startup person who thinks they're brilliant. All right, so the protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting ceremony with signs of fighting animals, chanting, reading Pengo while shouting Pengo, Pengo, Pengo. With signs of fighting animals. Let's get rid of the ribbon cutter. Signs of fighting animals. They're not chanting. The fighting animals are not chanting. That red. And I hope it doesn't confuse that the fighting animals are reading right now. They read Pengo while shouting Pengo, Pengo, Pengo. They shouted and marched as lines formed for the first animal fights. And I guess you'd pick the animals that were most expensive to maintain, so all the ice. Okay. Everything's got to earn. We're starting with the high earners. Okay, they shouted and marched as the line while the lines formed for the first animal fight between who was the owner called Randy. Danny is Danny with an IE. Let's mix it up there. You drop the Y from Danny, and then all of a sudden it could become gender free. It's so weird how we associate arranged letters to a certain gender arrangement of a body, or however you want it to function. Because it's just, I get it, it's a marker. But it's still, every time I think of a name and have to put a gender upon it or write a gender neutral name to satisfy my role and my desire to be a little bit more inclusive, I still find it interesting how humans have put this sort of classification around names. But that's a side tangent. They shouted and marched while the lines formed for the first fight between, as Danny called them, high-cost animals and low-cost. High-cost animals with low cost entertainment. Or low draw. With low fanatics, fans, with few fans, according to the new Pengo poll. Called Which Animals Aren't Worth the Money? Okay, we got the stage. We got some protesters. We got people. We got conflict. I feel we have conflict here. And Pengo poll, a technology startup called Pengo, inspired by the rich kids, the Silicon Valley rich kids' love of Django, promising and having a hot new startup, promising to fund a proper zoo, but also provide a real life animal experience using chips implanted in the brains. Promise fund a proper zoo. Excuse me. Okay, let's process this just a little more. The protesters showed up to the ribbon-cutting ceremony with signs of fighting animals that read Pengo while shouting Pengo, Pengo, Pengo. They shouted and marched while the lines formed for the first animal fight between, as Danny called them, high-cost animals with few fans, according to the new Pengo poll called Which Animals Aren't Worth the Money? Art? How do you spell art? Art. Which aren't worth the money? Which animals aren't? And it's that day where I look at a word and I'm like, what the hell is that word? And it's aren't. Which animals aren't worth the money? Let's put a question mark. With the only answers being penguins, walruses. How do you spell walrus? They look like walruses. I want to make sure. Or walrus. Okay, I was on the too many L track. Walruses. And what's the third one? That's giraffes. God, giraffes got to be expensive. Fragile too. But everyone loves giraffes, right? Giraffes, walruses, penguins, and giraffes. The only choices, not answers. This is a poll. You have choices. They are answers to the poll, but only choice, with the only choices being kind of like one of those fake polls. Give me these are the things I want to destroy. I've already classified them. Just help me justify it and say that you're the one that chose it. I don't want to be the decider. I want the public to supposedly decide with a fake poll, with questions that get the answers you want. They shouted and marched. Okay, The arena. So what would we call this? We still call it the National Zoo Arena. Animal Fighting Arena. Okay. The forms line for the first fights between, as Danny called them, high-cost animals with few fans, according to the new jingle poll called Which Animals Aren't Worth Money, with the only choices being penguins, walruses, and giraffes. The National Zoo Arena. There's got to be a structure I got to think about, but I don't. It's been so long since I've been to the National Zoo. I kind of miss the sounds a little bit. All I see is Pengo, the ending screen. Oh, the animal. Pengo, Pengo, Pengo. Poor little penguin. The National Zoo Arena. Spread like a rectangle with metal walls that could heat or cool, altering the battle arena. The slick floor spread like a with metal walls and floors that could cool or heat. The crowd gathered, shivering. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't they shiver? God, this is so dystopian. I got to think of happy times next one, but when you're smashing walruses, it's a little hard to think of utopia. For me, at least. But maybe I should try harder next time. There'll be hundreds of next times, so I'll have that chance. Let's focus on Pengo. So we have a decent flash fiction story for our Atari flash fiction so far. The crowd gathered, shivering from the freezing arena, set to chill. Big ice blocks arranged along the arena floor. In the middle of the ice blocks, let's just write this out. A penguin waddles about, sometimes trying to push a block, and other times, let's say not block, trying to break a block. The crowd shiver claps and cheers explode with steam from mouths as the walruses wobble into the field, into the gaming field. All right. Let's wobble time. Let's reset this thing. Let's hit this button. Let's look at some ice blocks. They're coming for me. I think they're going to take me out real quick. I'm dead if I just stand. So this is the opening scene. There's 3 walruses. You've got Pengo. Pengo's just sitting in the middle. Let's see how long that's not Pengo. What's the name of the dam? It's just a penguin. So the penguin just got whacked. Let's move this around. What time is it? I've got 51 minutes left. I almost got the story done. All right. I should probably at least get this screen over here so I can see it. There we go. Let's play this for real. Let's get to level 2 real quick. So this is Pengo. So I've got it set up. So this will be in the National Zoo. We have our walruses, and somehow Pengo's going to have to be able to do just that. So if I go like this and I go boom, oh man, crush you. All right. And if I only went up, which one are you going to destroy? Boom! Oh, shoot! Man, that's a little frustrating. You think you're pushing an ice block to smash the walrus, but the walrus chips the ice block away, and maybe that's how this is going to end. I think I'm going to have Pengo like almost win. Or this is not Pengo. I'm going to have the penguin live. Pengo, the corporation, is going to win because they're a corporation in America and they have more rights than a citizen does. And if you're rich, well, you own the corporations. It means you have all the rights in the world. Politicians will love you. All right, let's smash that. Come on, one more. This is going to be a long shot right here. Oh, come on. I want to take out this one walrus, and then I'm going to get back to finishing the story. My little red penguin. Oh, come on. Here we go. I'm just trying to follow this guy right here. And he knows I'm going to take him out. He knows it. They know it. Why am I putting a gender on this video game thing here? Walking around. Come on. Arrgh. Right here, right now. Boom. Smash that. Smash that walrus. Okay, so now I made it to level 2 of this. There's 49 minutes left of this. Whoa, there's green blocks now. What the hell? And they're faster. I can't remember green blocks last time I got to this level. There's some aggressive. I'm dead. Oh, come on. I mean, I guess these walruses are a little bit, should be technically slow, but I want to smash 2 of them right there. Oh, that felt good. That's crazy. I'm feeling good about killing walruses. They become the enemy somehow because they're just walruses. Come on, break this block. Why can't you break a block, Pengo? Oh, that's what I want to see. If I can get past this level, I'm going to finish the game in style. I think the penguin might live. Or they'd end up wanting to kill the penguin because it still cost overrun. Penguins are expensive to keep up. Oh, shoot! Oh, I'm going to smash this. Or not. Oh, come on. Perfect. Damn it. Man. All right. I've been inspired. Life will move on. Pengo will be. The game is over for me. But that's okay. The story continues. The story is going to continue with the shiver, claps, and cheers explode with steam from mouths. The claps explode. I don't want to delete that entire thing. I just want to write explode. Steam from mouths blow as the walruses wobble into the gaming field. Maybe there's side betting too. Of course there'd be side betting. I don't know how that'd work in DC. Maybe they pass more laws. Okay, the shiver and clap and cheers explode. Steam from mouths blow as the walruses wobble into the gaming field. In the middle of the arena. The battle penguin wobbles around the blocks. Oh wait, I already got this. In the middle of the penguin waddles around the blocks. Okay, in the middle of this, I've already got that defined. I've got the walruses coming in. The walrus's big tusk. Walrus's tusks. Chip, crack, and shatter. The walrus's tusk, chip, crack, and shatter. Okay. The ice blocks. This is, I don't know. So the walrus's tusk, let's possess those. Because there's more than one walrus, and they own those tusks. The walrus's tusk chip, crack, and shatter the ice blocks. Coming closer to Pengo. It's not Pengo. Coming close to the Penguin. Pengo is the company that owns this now. Coming close to the Penguin. And I guess I don't need the whole implant, so maybe I'll dump that from the story if I have time, and I should have time. The walrus's tusk chip, crack, and shatter the ice blocks. Coming closer to the Penguin. Now running in circles. And I got past tense. All of a sudden I'm present tense too. The crowd gathered. The shiver claps and cheers exploded. Exploded the calm. Steam from the mouths blew as the walruses wobbled into the gaming field. The walrus's tusks chipped, cracked, and shattered. So let's add some past tense and make sure this tense is consistent through the story. A lot of stuff you need to sometimes do during editing, but if you catch it during writing, well, you're going to be less annoyed during that future self when you actually have to go back and read it before you give it to an editor or publisher. Because if you don't, man, I don't know why you became a writer. And you became a scribbler, maybe. Edit your stuff. The walruses wobbled into the game field or work with someone to edit it with you. The walrus's tusk chipped, cracked, and shattered the ice blocks, coming close to the Penguin. The Penguin slapped wings against the ice, pushing the block against another. With both wings, it slapped the sides of the ice block, shattering it. Twice as big as it. How big is that ice block? Is it as big as it? These are massive ice blocks. This is a massive penguin. Penguins can get tall though. So let's see, it's twice as big as it. As big as its body. Fun times. We're going here. We got a story. We have something at least. All right, so the penguin slapped its wing. Slapped a wing against the ice, pushing the ice block, pushing the block against another. Its wings slapped the ice block as big as its body. The penguin slapped a wing against the ice block, pushing it. There we go. The crowd cheers. I guess it's watching the animals. Game over. Man, it doesn't have much of a screensaver, some of these games. I want to see a little action. All I see is a penguin walking back and forth under the sign "Game Over," which is interesting. Don't get me wrong, I couldn't code this. I would go insane writing an Atari 2600 game. I'd go insane writing almost any game. But specifically an Atari 2600 game with the code required to write the code and the way that you'd have to code and test it would be insane. At least for me. I don't have that capacity, tools. The crowd cheered, and I write code for a living. I just don't write not only video game code, but Atari 2600 video game code. The crowd cheered for the penguin as a walrus broke into the center. And maybe it's all by accident. Well, broke into the center and chased the penguin. Kids shouted, "Kill it!" I left the brain implants out. I'll probably drop that from the story. It's a science fiction too far. Kids shouted, "Kill the penguin!" And kill the walruses. Smash them. Okay, so we got two things that the kids shout, just show the nature of what would happen if we wanted to make battle zoos. This is a battle zoo. Maybe, I know what's going to happen at the very end. As the ice block slides towards the penguin. Protesters. Those pesky protesters wanting animal rights. Animals have no rights to corporations, that is. And, I guess everyone else, pretty much. The only animals they feel that probably have rights are themselves. As the ice block slides toward the penguin, protesters shatter in the door. Protesters swarm the arena, leaping onto the floor, slipping and sliding. A few crawl toward the penguin and the walrus and the ice block. The ice block slides over the floor, smashing the penguin. The kids, the families cheer. Families cheer and chant. Kill, kill, kill. As the remaining walruses, and they're retrained. I'm sure I gotta have some. As the remaining walruses slap ice blocks and charge the protesters, now stuck in the arena. Yeah. So we're now in the arena, and we're now stuck in the arena. And this is where it's going to end. I think I got to at least write it and roll it back to the original top of the story here. The cutting budget said, I don't want the chips. I don't want the chips implanted. Makes it a little bit odd. Also provided a real life experience using chips implanted in the brains of animals. Now, the proper zoo. So during the debt ceiling, this startup called Pengo, inspired by Silicon Valley's rich kid, Danny. Love of Django, promising to fund a proper zoo and profit. Okay, let's get rid of the chips. That's a story too far. That is not this story. And, said Danny, we have animal fights because, like capitalism, everything must fight to earn. The protesters showed up to the ribbon-cutting ceremony with ribbon-cutting ceremonies of the National Zoo Battle Arena. Oh, I gotta probably put the word ceremony and spell it right. I make attempts to understand the language, the only language I really know. Obviously, not a good enough job. Ceremony is without the I. Ceremony. Ceremony. Money. I don't need the E either. Ceremony. And I probably want this in a different place. Let's rewrite this word. Nothing like writing the word wrong and then writing the word right to maybe spell it right during the future. However right may be for your language. Or time. Money. Ceremony. The protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting. Can I put the word in the right place? Ceremony at the National Zoo. The protesters showed up to the ribbon cutting ceremony at the National Zoo battle arena with signs of fighting animals that read Pengo while shouting pain, go, pain, go. They shouted and marched while the lines formed the first animal fight between Danny, as Danny called them, high-cost animals with few fans, according to the Pengo poll called Which Animals Aren't Worth Money, with the only choices being penguins, walruses, and giraffes. I wouldn't say pandas because everyone's going to want to pay to see the pandas. But giraffes are really cool and everyone wants to see the giraffes, but I mean, cost and the fact that, yeah. I only say this because I remember when I was growing up, the zoo that lived near me had more than one giraffe death because the environment they had cement floors and the giraffes, had trouble walking on them, would slip and fall and break a leg. And if you break a leg as a giraffe and you're a giraffe in a zoo, you're going to be euthanized. And they had that a couple times. And it came back, of course, to cost. The National Animal Arena spread like a rectangle with metal walls and floors that could heat or cool, altering the battle arena. I'll say spread in the middle of the National Zoo. Like a rectangle with metal walls and floors, like a dome over a rectangle. Over a rectangle with metal walls and floors that could heat or cool, and altering the battle arena. A crowd gathered, shivering from the freezing arena, set to chill the big-ass blocks arranged along the arena floor in the middle of the penguin waddle. The crowd sat inside, shivering. Shivering from the freeze to chill big ice blocks. How's that? From the freeze to chill big ice blocks arranged along the arena floor. In the middles. Well, at least I can correct a bunch of this stuff. I got 31 minutes left, and I feel like this is not going to be found in any sort of literary journal anytime soon, if ever. AI might appreciate it. It might be a fun read, whether this ends up published someplace or not. Who knows? In the middle, a penguin waddled about, arranged along the arena floor. In the middle of the blocks. The ice blocks. Let's just say ice blocks. Let's keep that around because that's cold. It makes me feel cold. It is not cold where I am currently sitting, but thinking of ice blocks kind of does make me a little cold. So let's just drop that to get that scene in. It's flash fiction, so we're talking like 600 words to 1,200 words. A penguin waddled about trying to push a block or slapping or slapping a wing against a block. And then we can at least show the mechanics, introduce the scene. There we go. The shiver, the crowd shiver claps. Let's say who is doing the crowd shiver claps and cheers. The crowds, let's possess that. The crowds, let's spell that right. Let's put the arrangement of the letters in the right way. The crowds shiver, clapped, and cheered. Exploding the calm. Let's put a comma there. Steam from mouths blue as the walruses wobbled. Steam from mouth blue shouts. Shouts while the walruses wobbled onto the pitch, onto the gaming field. Okay. Pengo Corporation having the penguins fight. The penguins slapped a wing against an ice block, pushing the block against another block, another ice block. With its wings, it slapped. Let's do a comma there. It slapped an ice block. It slapped the ice block as big as his body. The block shattered. I guess I do have to define these special blocks. Somehow a penguin is shattering ice blocks with its wings. I mean, a story. Let's just suspend ourselves from disbelief. So I got to make this work. Why does this shatter? As big as its body. Okay, let's do this. Maybe there is some attachment onto the penguin to enable it to at least have enough force. I guess they're smaller blocks. I mean, let's just say they can do it. Let's make the blocks small. It's as big as its body. That's consistent. Let me go ahead and reset. Are they as big as its body? They are as big as its body. So these are kind of, the walruses are disproportionate to walrus size. And, you're coating this thing in a way that looks like everything's got to fill up within a square of an ice block. And there seems to be enough room to fit both those objects in the square ice block. And so hence you don't want to it'd be harder for me at least, I'm assuming also the creators of this game, to code having walruses be a different size than the penguin. Because if we look at this here, it's like everything's got some sort of uniform size to it. It's around the same size as an ice block, so it's easy to place them during startup and also maneuver them around and give them both the same edge. And it's funny that the walruses are just walking around my penguin right now. Oh, one just whacked it. Okay, so we understand that the ice blocks aren't that huge. I'm not going to put any, I can maybe think about putting some sort of technology as a, yeah. Penguin slapped a wing against an ice block, pushing the block against another ice block. With its wings, it slapped the ice block as big as its body. Let's put the simile right here. I should put, yeah. Let's define the ice blocks. It slapped the ice block. The ice block slid across the floor. The floor. I mean, I can imagine this thing like air hockey. Floating on the floor like an air hockey. Yes, I got that. Because air hockey, you don't need a lot of force to push something. I mean, you just barely need to tap it and it floats on top. Damn, I want to play some air hockey. It's been a hot minute. A slow minute, a big minute, a minute. Let's pour some coffee. What time is it? I got 25 minutes left to make this better. Let's do it. Let's make it better. So when I read it at the end, it's, who knows? Maybe I could publish it. The audio, not the actual words, because the words are probably gonna suck. Lots of typos, syntax issues, grammar, tense changes. All those things will exist, but hopefully I'll be able to read over them. The ice block slides across the floor, shatters against the wall. Okay, so we have at least some concept of an ice block. It slides, ice block slid across the floor. And let's define the ice blocks now, as well as the floor before we hit this paragraph. We don't have much here. It's a flash fiction story. Shouted between the lines. The National Arena spread in the middle floor with themed rectangle metal walls and floors that could heat or cool and altering the battle arena. What else? The floor also the floor also. I don't know what the floor also was. I'm at a total loss. Also allowed the big ice blocks the size of a penguin positioned, arranged over the floor. On the arena floor. There we go. To slide across like an air hockey table. So that way it at least gives a reason why it's so easy to nudge these things. You nudge them and they're just going to float across. So at least I've got that. Definitely don't need any sort of implants. I feel like I've got enough stories that are about things getting implanted with chips or fake animals. Let's make these, try to make them real animals that are controlled by the Pengo Corporation. The National Animal Arena spread in the middle of the National Zoo like a dome over a rectangle with metal walls and floors that could heat or cool, altering the battle arena. The floors also the floor also allowed the big ice block, the ice block, the penguin-sized, let's do that, that's less words. The penguin-sized ice block, and it's a pattern I use probably too much, but the penguin-sized ice block on the arena floor. There's so few words right there, I like that. Along the floor's cold air. Got itchy nose today. Such is life. There's this human body of ours, and all the things it needs to do to survive, and all the things it can do to distract your mind. Also allowed, let's see, so the heat or cool floor, air blew over the floor, allowing the penguin-sized blocks, helping the penguin-sized ice blocks. There we go. Ice blocks slide across the floor like an air hockey table. That makes more sense, because that's the penguin just would have to like nudge this thing, and maybe they nudge it and it slides, and what happened is actually hitting the other thing. I don't know yet. Because if there's another ice block behind it, it shatters. So I think it's the pushing that makes it shatter, not the slapping of the block, because it can slide so fast over this floor that now is like an ice hockey floor or air hockey. Like an air hockey cut table. The crowd sat, shivering from the freeze, to chill big ice blocks arranged along the arena floor. In the middle of the ice blocks, a penguin waddled about, nudging blocks. Not trying. Nudging blocks. Blocks. Because I think I'm just going to have, like, I think the walrus is smash for some reason, and the penguin's the only thing that can push. And the penguin can smash, but smashes by pushing them against another block, I'll say. Nudging blocks. Pushing them against other blocks. Causing them to shatter. "19 minutes left. The crowd shiver, clapped, and cheered, exploding the calm. Steam from mouths blew shouts while the walruses wobbled onto the game field. The walruses touched, chipped, and cracked and shattered the ice blocks, coming close to the penguin. The penguin slapped a wing against an ice block, pushing the ice block against another block, shattering it. With wings, it slapped the ice. Yeah, I think this is... I'm going to have this right here. And have the first death of a walrus be named, because this is flash fiction, not a short story, not a novel. We're in, we're out, we resolve a thing. Protesters are going to come in, they're going to get killed by the capitalists because people love money more than people. And I think a lot of people's love of money thinking they need the money to save the people that they know, but only the people they know, because humans are selfish. I think the way we are in society is evident of that. I think it's trained us to be that way. I think deep down, though, I think we just want to help each other. Just convincing people to do that, to go with their nature. Maybe. That's all bullshit. This is not, though. This is the cutting ceremony of the National Zoo. I got 17 minutes left. Let's make this fight better, and let's make the end better. The National Animal Arena spread in the middle. The crowd sat inside the arena shivering. Let's complete that thought in that sentence. Let's put the people there. We don't have many words. Arena, shivering from the freeze to chill big ice blocks. Let's just not name the size. The ice blocks arranged along the arena floor. In the middle of the ice blocks, a penguin waddled, nudging and pushing them against other blocks, causing them to shatter. Them to shatter. The crowd shiver, clapped, and cheered, exploding the calm. Steam from mouths blew shouts while the walruses wobbled onto the gaming field. The walrus's tusk chipped, cracked, and shattered the ice blocks, coming close to the penguin. The penguin slapped a wing against an ice block, pushing it against the block. Let's just say... against the wall. The crowd cheers. The walrus broke after. Let's say after. Let's mix up. After a walrus broke into the center and chased the penguin. Kids shouted, "Kill the penguin and kill the walruses." Well, I thought I had something more here. Oh, I do. Okay, good. As the ice block smash, as an ice block, as the penguin, after, the penguin slapped. I want to have penguin smashing, I don't know how to spell penguin right now. As the penguin slapped an ice block that slid and smashed a walrus. The crowd chanted penguin. Cheered and laughed. Cheered and clapped. The penguin waddled as a bull walrus charged. The crowd silenced. From the anticipation and excitement. The crowd silenced in anticipation of the walrus, of the charging walrus. Okay, I got 13 minutes left, and I think I'm going to at least leave this in a pretty good place for a story. The ice blocks, I got 13 minutes left on this clock here. It doesn't mean it's going to take me 13 minutes. Maybe less. The charging Wallace, I'm charging you a fee, yo. Silence in the anticipation and excitement of the charging walrus. Brr. Okay, so it's charging on in. I don't know. Toward the penguin protesters swarming the arena, leaping onto the floor. Pengo. The chant of Pengo. Go, grew, and be until while the penguin hit the wall, and looked at and the walrus lowered its tusks, its head to smash. Pengo, shouted a protester. As it leaped, as it ran into the arena, leaped into the field, and died after and smashed. Okay, so here the leap to the floor, sliding us a few. The walrus tried to stop. The walrus slid over the floor, smashing the protester and the penguin. Okay, and the penguin, the families cheered. enchanted. Like the animals they are. Like animals in a zoo. Okay, maybe that's the story. You got 9 minutes left. I'd love to be able to read this. I'm going to read this because I can and do that anyway, even if it was at more of time. Again, video game flash fiction. If you're interested in a book, there is one available on Amazon called Video Game Flash Fiction. Probably later this year, I'll be coming out with another one. Probably have 50 stories instead of 25. All created through this process. All original intellectual property, just simply using the names, the sights, and the sounds of something like the game Pengo. I'm going to get the noise going on in the background. I'm going to read this aloud and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if this is a complete story, but we're just about at time. We're at 9 minutes. I'm going to turn this off so I don't get the loud buzzing sound. I'm satisfied with where it happened. Didn't expect this story today. Like every day, I play video game flash fiction. It's random, and that makes it fun. Let's at least turn on the sights and sounds and hit a button so I can at least get the background as I read this aloud. The cutting of this is video game flash fiction. The story is called Pengo. The cutting of the National Zoo's budget during the debt ceiling negotiations sold the National Zoo to a technology startup called Pengo, inspired by the Silicon Valley rich kid Danny's love of Django, promising to fund a proper zoo and profit. And, said Danny, we have animal fights because, like capitalism, everything must fight to earn. The protesters showed up to the ribbon-cutting ceremony at the National Zoo Battle Arena with signs of fighting animals that read, Pain, Go, while shouting, Pain, Go, Pain, Go, Pain, Go. They shouted and marched while the lines formed for the first animal fights between, as Danny called them, high-cost animals with few fans, according to the new Pengo poll called Which Animals Aren't Worth Money, with the only choices being penguins, walruses, and giraffes. The National Zoo Animal Arena spread in the middle of the National Zoo like a dome over a rectangle with metal walls and floors that could heat or cool, altering the battle arena. Air blew over the floor, helping the penguin-sized ice blocks slide across the air like on an ice hockey table. The crowd sat inside the arena, shivering from the freeze to chill. The ice blocks arranged along the arena floor. In the middle of the ice blocks, a penguin waddled, nudging blocks, pushing them against other blocks, causing them to shatter. The crowd shiver, clapped, and cheered, exploding the calm. Steam from mouths blew shouts while the walruses wobbled into the gaming field. The walruses' tusks chipped, cracked, and shattered the ice blocks, coming close to the penguin. The penguin slapped a wing against an ice block. The ice block slid across the floor and shattered against the wall. The crowd cheered after the walrus broke into the center and chased the penguin. Kids shouted, "Kill the penguin!" and "Kill the walruses!" The penguin slapped an ice block that slid and smashed a walrus. The crowd cheered and clapped. The penguin waddled as a bull walrus charged. The crowd silenced in the anticipation and excitement of the charging walrus. The chants of Pengo grew while the penguin hit the wall and the walrus lowered its head to smash. "Pengo!" shouted a protester, running into the arena, leaping into the field. As the walrus charged toward the penguin, protesters swarmed the arena, leaping onto the floor, slipping and sliding. A few crawled and began to charge at the walrus. The walrus slid over the floor, smashing a protester and the penguin. The families cheered and chanted, "Kill, kill, kill," like animals in a zoo. Well, for better or worse, sometimes worse, that was video game flash fiction for the day. I'm committing the words right now. A Pengo. And as this ceremony, I'm going to go ahead and turn off this game and put in the stack of games that have been written and likely never played again. By me, at least. I hope by others. There are a few of these games I want to play through, but only after they become stories. So my mind does not give it time to prep for creating a random story. With video game flash fiction. Until next time, remember, find a way to game words, find a way to write. There are different ways, much like sarcastic fiction game, giving yourself 1 hour to do it and forcing yourself to sit there and stare at a page or a screen until something comes out, even if it doesn't. Remember to write and remember to game it. Video game flash fiction is going to be switched off right now.